I'm curious, Susan, what in fact is the biggest difference in life when we can have sex plus love?
You know, everybody that I work with has either the complaint that they don't have enough love in their life, or they don't have enough passion in their life, or they don't have either. And I'm talking about the people who are working with me on relationship issues. Obviously, if it's another issue, that's a conversation for another day. But it's so rare for a couple or an individual to be able to reach that level of two merging into one, which is what heart space really means. When I'm in my heart space and you're in your heart space, and we meet and we join, very much as Rumi described. So everyone seems to have the same desire. The only reason everyone isn't there yet, or everyone isn't even on the road to reaching it yet, is a lot of issues that have to do with fear, anger, hopelessness, despair, etc. So when negative emotions based on the past get in the way, and we don't realize that the state you're in right now may not be your goal, it may not be your destination, but let's talk about what you need to do right now, getting into a state of positive expectation and belief, for example, so that you actually can move towards it, work towards it. And when you learned how to drive a car or ride a bicycle, it was complicated. A lot of people forget that.
Yes.
You know, they think that the things they do know how to do were, and they're not. It's just that you already went through the learning curve. So as an adult, I found in my own life, whenever I've been lucky enough to experience both, it makes all the difference in the world. Whatever you have to do to have that experience of sex plus love, even if it's not going to last. Sometimes it lasts and sometimes it doesn't. But my point of view is have it in your life, because this can truly be the greatest human experience you will ever have.
Actually, it's the ultimate connection.
That's right.
Thank you, Susan. Now, I'm curious, what is the biggest complaint that your clients have when they have sex and there's no love involved?
You know, it's an emptier feeling. It doesn't have the fullness. It doesn't have the peace. First of all, you don't get the same biochemical jolt that you get when you're with somebody who you love, who loves you. Even if it's just you loving that other person, you get a tremendous biochemical benefits that you don't get if you're with a sex worker, for example, or if it's friends with benefits, and you know that there's nothing else. It's like not only a glass ceiling, but it's a ceiling that's pressing down pretty much right onto the bed. So it has that sadness for most people, or it can create anger. People can get very angry. That, of course, is a precursor to rape in many cases, that men can feel so angry at women because the women don't respond, or they don't have the same feelings for the man that he has theoretically for them. I'm not so sure he did, but he believes he did. So these are very important issues. They're important for our mental health, important for our physical well-being, and important for our safety if we're women as well.
Perfectly said. Nothing but the truth here. Now, I know, Susan, that you studied extensively even in India, and there's an important training about this. Please share with us about what you've learned.
When I first went to India in 1972, I honestly believed that the Kama Sutra was going to be right there. It would come to life. All I would do is get off the plane, and everybody was practicing the Kama Sutra. Not so fast, Susan. Turns out that for thousands of years, people in India, by and large, have not been practitioners of the Kama Sutra and Tantric Yoga, which is the yoga of sex. You will find enlightened masters all over the country who are either into what you call yoga, which is the yoga of movement or the yoga of breathing or different forms of yoga. And you will find, of course, some who are experts in tantric yoga, but very few, because thousands of years ago, creeping morality stepped into India and Hinduism, and that was pretty much the end of it. But it still exists, and I've studied it for years because luckily there are plenty of books and videos, and now we have YouTube and we have everything else. So tantric yoga is an exquisite way to learn how to connect with yourself and then connect with your partner. There are many benefits, but basically we're talking about the benefits of love. So a deep emotional and intimate connection that, amazingly enough, tantric yogic practitioners can experience with anybody. So that, it's a practice. They can practice in such a way that they can bring love forth. Not sex working, but bringing forth real love. On top of it, of course, there are many, many, many sexual techniques that are part of Tantra, because the whole point of Tantra is to have sex be an experience that lasts much longer. And because it lasts much longer, it gives the partners the opportunity to really be with one another, which isn't possible if sex is just you being in a frenzy.
Boy, it can be very intense and fulfilling, let alone healthy. Oh, my goodness. Yep, I think everybody's got sex on their mind tonight.
I hope so. I hope they do. Better have it.
Oh, well, I know, Susan, that you said when there is love and there is also sex, that re-energizes and nourishes us. How is it really possible? Please explain this.
Well, when you have to recharge a battery, and there's a positive and there's a negative energy. I don't mean good and bad, positive, negative. So two humans, it's called the Shiva Shakti, but it isn't specifically a male and a female. It's two human beings. It's the energy principle, that two energies are able to create a vortex, or they're able to create an energetic field. And in that energetic field, remarkable feelings and results occur. And so that's another reason to learn Tantra. I mean, there's so many benefits. People who love sex, my goodness, imagine how much you'd love it if you learned Tantra. People who don't love sex, imagine you could actually figure out what the rest of us are talking about if you learn Tantra. So there are only benefits to learning Tantra.